Hi everybody, welcome back. Sorry I'm a little late. Took me a little longer to make my tea. Today we are going to continue our Dao De Jing study. Today we will study together the second chapter. First, I want to read you the Chinese version of chapter 2. And then I will read you the English version that I picked. I posted in the group yesterday. The English version, there are many English versions of the translation of Dao De Jing. I looked through some of them. I found the one by Stephen Mitchell to be, personally, I feel like that's one I prefer. But certainly everyone should, if you have a chance to look at other versions and pick the one that speaks to you, to your heart the most. Hi IJ, nice to see you. We just started, so okay. Dao De Jing chapter 2. 天下皆知美之为美，斯恶已；皆知善之为善，斯不善已。故有无相生，难易相成，长短相较，高下相倾，音声相和，前后相随。是故圣人处无为之事，行不言之教，万物作焉而不辞，生而不有，为而不恃，功成而弗居。夫为弗居，是以不去。So it's not a very long chapter. None of the 81 chapters in Dao De Jing is very long. However, I think if we really dig into it, we could probably spend hours and hours trying to dig out all the wisdom in these short chapters. Hi Richard, nice to see you. Good day to you too. Okay, so Stephen Mitchell's translation of Dao De Jing chapter 2 is as this. Okay. So he has, when people see something as beautiful, other things become ugly. When people see something as good, other things become bad. Being and non-being create each other. Difficult and easy support each other. Long and short define each other. High and low depend on each other. Before and after follow each other. Therefore, the master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. Things arise and she lets them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. She has but doesn't possess, acts but doesn't expect. When her work is done, she forgets it. That is why it lasts forever. I forgot to print it out, so I have to read it out from my computer. That's why you can see me keep looking this direction. So that was a very beautiful translation. So let's go the first couple of sentences. Okay. In this chapter, the first couple sentences are very important. So it says, when people see some things as beautiful and other things become ugly. When people see some things as good, other things become bad. There's another common translation for these two sentences that's similar with this, but a little different. For example, in The Essential Tao by Thomas Clary, he translates these two sentences as when people, one second, let me find it so I can get it right. When everyone knows beauty is beauty, this is bad. When everyone knows good is good, this is not good. For me, you can certainly, it's up to you to decide which one makes more sense to you or speaks to you more. For me, these both, both make sense to me. Stephen Mitchell's translation, which is also in Chinese translations, is one school of how to translate these first sentence, is that when we decide, when we set up a standard, so we can say, do things this way is good, then we certainly very naturally, it's already clearly that you means if you're not doing this way, doing that way, then it's not good, it's bad. So if you set up a standard, whatever standard of something's good, something's bad, something is pretty, something's not pretty, then you automatically create duality. And the other translation is basically saying, then this is not good. Doing this is not a good, not good to do. So for me, personally, the way I'm thinking about it is this. In situations, we need to have a distinction. We need to be able to act or be able to talk about a phenomena. Maybe we need to first define what it is. So you can say setting up standard or label something as this, it's necessary for certain purposes. However, I think what is not good is that then our mind decide, okay, so this is what it is. So everybody, for example, we all want to be nice to other people. So you may be setting up, okay, so hitting other people is definitely not a good thing to do. However, there are other, once you set this up, then if you're hitting other people, then it's definitely bad things to do. Then we know that, for example, in a situation that you need to defend yourself, would you just let other people just bully you, hate you, and then you just think, okay, I'm not going to do the bad thing? Or is it right for you at that time to defend yourself? So that's just a very simple example of what I think that what Lao Tzu is trying to say, is trying to make us become more aware that when we create a duality, it's not any of the standards are not inherent. So they are just there for the purpose we use them for. So this way, you are not having we don't really have we can have a much more fluent view of seeing things. So when something that we set up, then if that situation is past, then we let it go, and we will be able to have more of a clear mind, an open mind, like a blank piece of paper when new situation rise up. There is a saying I remember hearing one of the spiritual teachers say that he says like all past experience and knowledges are only hindrance for us to dealing with whatever is at hand most efficiently. I'm not sure that's all as a hindrance, but I think he has a point. Is in the way that every moment is a new moment. So whatever you may think you've learned from the a previous experience that might be similar with what you have on hand now, but they are not the same. If you just see them as the same, using what you learned from the previous experience on what you have are facing now, then you might be missing some very important clues and signs of to not be able to see this thing from a fresh, clear angle. So Lao Tzu, you can see a lot of people think Dao De Jing is a philosophical book, is one of the Taoist philosophy. However, actually in here, I mean the Tao and the De is the way to practice the Tao, the manifestations of Tao. Tao and De are like Yu and Wu, so they are not. We cannot separate them. And once you understand the Tao, you truly understand it. Certainly you will follow it because that makes sense to you. So there in Dao De Jing, there's also a lot of what the teachings in Dao De Jing are also about how to practice Tao. So not just a philosophy. For example, later we'll go over in chapter 48 of Dao De Jing, Lao Tzu talk about, it's called Wei Dao Ri Sun. So Wei means act or follow or do, and Dao we know is the Tao. Wei Dao is the way to follow the Tao, the way to be on the Tao's path is Ri Sun. Ri means every day. Every day just means all the time and constantly continuing. And the word sun in Chinese, sun means like destroy, decrease, minimize. So translating into Chinese is the way to follow Tao is to destroy, is to decrease something every day. So what is Lao Tzu talking about that we should be, decreasing? At least for when it relates to this chapter, we can say that it's at least one thing we're trying to decrease, to destroy, is that the fixed ideas, fixed ways of seeing things or limiting of our be able to seeing things more clearly. So the more that's it's, I mean, again, it's like all of those are like the dusts on our clear mirror. So the more you clean off the mirror, you slowly every day you get rid of the dust, the smudges on the mirror, you'll be able to see things more clearly. You may have a big mirror, but the way is you might not be able to clean it in one sweep. So the way to do it, like Lao Tzu says, is just constantly every day we're working on it. So eventually we'll have them clear. Each step, your mirror will be a little more clear. So for me at least, I think the interesting thing or the ironic thing you could say, what I felt is that oftentimes that when we realize, because we are with, like say, we're the mirror, we're with these dust all the time. So we're used to, for example, I wear glasses. Maybe I have smudges, dust on my glasses. Then I'm used to looking at like this. So I don't, I'm not aware that there are dusts. I'm not aware. I'm not seeing things as clear as can be. I'm just getting used to it. The same, this is a metaphor for often our the fixed ideas, standards that we have either learned from our parents, our upbringing, or society that we live in, or wherever you picked it up. And since you have it, you don't. You're so used to it. We're not aware of what we have. Oh, I'm seeing things in this angle. That's not something we think about every day. And seems like for me that when everything goes well, I'm happy. That's not the time I tend to be feeling like I'm bumping into these how do you say, these standards of or this judgment that I have. It's usually the time when something happened and then I'm not happy about what happened. That's when that's actually, in a way, it's a seeing this, that's a good thing. So that actually is more, for me, it helps me to see, why am I not happy about how this person behaved, or about how things came up. So in a way, the interesting way is that's often the times we can look into. That's way it's like pointing at, okay, I have, there is this dust that's blocking me. That's why I'm seeing things. I think this is bad. So in a way, you often hear Dr. Wu talk about like, who am I? Who am I? Knowing who am I is very important for it's just an important period. It's also, I think Dr. Wu is talking, was finding that that's very helpful with the patients that goes to see him. By knowing who am I, it's you naturally, if you can get in touch with who you are, you naturally know, okay, so this food is good for me, for my health for now, and that food is not good, or what you need to do that's better to help you to increase your health. So how you practice? How do you find out who am I, right? So this is, in a way, this is one way to be, at least to realize who you are. I mean, in essence, you are the clear mirror. However, because it has all the dust on it, so currently we're a a dirty mirror. Let's say it that way. It may not be 100% correct in my words. So knowing who, that's one way knowing who am I. Oh, okay, I get angry when it seems like somebody say this, or I get sad when they say that. And this anger and the sadness is definitely sometimes it hurts me. Like when I get angry, I could feel it in here in my liver area. And in traditional Chinese medicine, liver and anger, anger definitely is damaging to your liver. When I get angry, even not much, I could definitely I could feel the uncomfortable in this area. So to be able to, so this is one way to realize who am I. So this is one level, realize, okay, I'm this mirror now with all the dusts. Then once we realize it, once we can see it, then we can change it. How can we change anything that we don't even know that is there? We can't get rid of anything we don't know that exists. So the idea is 为道日损, slowly. I think this is a very good way to talking about bringing back our health. So it's oftentimes you may be able to take medicine that will either cover the symptom or you feel better immediately the next way. This quick fix, but they may often not be the best method to get to the root cause, to be able to totally get rid of the reason that why we're not feeling well, why we're having this kind of disease, that kind of disease. This method is getting to the deep of truly who you are. So one level, you start to find out, what are the things that you have. I mean, like again, that the real you, the true you it's none of these. Just like in the Heart Sutra, remember we talk about our true self, the emptiness. You cannot make it dirty, you cannot clean it, you cannot increase it, you cannot decrease it. So we're talking on this level is ourself that including all the our personality, our attitude toward things, our standards of what's good, what's bad. That's one level, find out who am I. Once you cleared enough, maybe not, you don't even have to clear all the dust off your mirror, then you'll be able to get to a deeper level of who am I. For me, I don't see this who am I as black and white. Okay, I don't know who am I, and then suddenly, okay, I realize who am I. Who am I is a way to constantly remind you to go to the other shore. Remember in Heart Sutra, the wisdom that bring us to the other shore, to go home, to constantly remind you how to you be able to connect with our true self and how to be able to go home. So here you can say that Lao Tzu clearly using just beautiful words, but also short sentence that clearly just to point it out to us that that, like we said, that we need to be aware. We should be, if we set up any standards or we have judgment, we need to be aware of that these are not inherent. Not saying there's no reason now you shouldn't do it. Just for us to pay attention to realize these not inherently there. So they don't have their independent self entity. It's something we set up. Then when we don't need it anymore, let's not hold on to the old old tools that we don't use anymore. There's a story that I want to share with you that's I see is related to this part of the teaching. It's also a fun story to listen to, so I hope you enjoy it. This is a story actually about Confucius. Confucius, I believe, was 20 years younger than Lao Tzu. And story has that he has gone to visit Lao Tzu and learned from Lao Tzu. He may not be a official student of Lao Tzu. However, he has definitely talked with Lao Tzu and probably have learned useful wisdom from Lao Tzu. So this is a story about Confucius. So the time that Lao Tzu and Confucius lived in China is called spring and autumn, and this wartime. So at that time, the China was divided into many littler countries. There are about maybe 7 or 8 big ones and a lot of littler ones. So there are often war going on. So it's a very turmoil period in China. So Confucius was born and lived in the country that's called Lu. And so Lu, the king of Lu, had once had telling his the countrymen of this Lu country, saying that if you travel to other countries, and if you have seen our fellow countrymen became slaves for whatever reason in other countries, says please buy them and bring them back to our country. And the king, or you can say the government will pay you later for the money you spend to buy the slaves. So a lot of people and a lot of the people from Lu then did that, and then a lot of the slaves originally from Lu were able to come back to their home country. So people who did this was doing a good deed, and the countrymen appreciated what they did. And Confucius has this student who is very rich. I think he's a businessman. His name is Zigong. So we'll call him Gong. So Gong did that on one of his trip, and he brought slaves back. And when the government wanted to pay him, because he's rich, he says, "No, I don't need payment. I'm fine with it." So hi Angela, thank you for joining me. Welcome. So all the countrymen in Lu country start to appraise Zigong. They're saying, "Oh, how noble he is, and he did this good deed, and he doesn't even need money back." So maybe I can imagine maybe Zigong went back to, after he came back, he went to see his teacher Confucius, and he was probably feeling pretty proud of himself and thinking that Confucius is gonna praise him. So, "Oh, you're such a good student, and you did a very noble thing. It's a good deed." However, Confucius was actually very upset, and he said he was telling Gong, saying what you did is really wrong. So I'm sure Gong will be probably stunned. Excuse me. And Confucius continued to say that, he says, because what you did, from now on, other people in Lu will no longer go out and buy slaves back. So yeah, people will be like, what? So basically what happened, and what it actually did end up happening, it was because that when other Lu people brought slave back and went to the government to get money, and the people will be saying like, look at you, and you did this good deed, and you actually want money back, and look at Gong, how good he is. And nobody wants to be able to did all this work to help their countrymen, the slaves, and it ended up for people to think that they are actually like being looked down. So what they ended up, people just ended up stopping buying slaves. So Confucius was able to foresee what happened. So this is a story that once you set up as Gong as being the moral person doing good deed, and especially the higher you set up the moral level, that just means there's just not much space left for people to be able to do good deeds. And sometimes people would just, it's like, I can't be up there, then I just can't do it. And there is another story similar. It's also about Confucius and a student. So Confucius has another student whose name is Zilu. So Zigong was the rich student, and Zilu is another student. So we'll call him Lu. So what Lu did is that one day Lu was just walking, probably in the field, and he saw someone fell into a river and was drowning. So Lu went and helped this person. So that's certainly clear a good deed. You saved this person's life. And the person that got saved was very appreciative of what Lu did. So this person gave Lu an ox as a thank you present. In those times, like an ox is a very big part of your property, of what you own. So it's like very expensive. Maybe compared to like this guy gave Lu a BMW. And Lu received it. Lu says, "Oh, thank you." And he took the ox. The people who were all saying, "Look at Lu, and he helped this guy." However, he was actually accepting thank you gift. So it was like he wasn't actually doing a good deed. Doing a good deed is supposed to be you just help people without thinking anything for yourself. However, you can probably guess what I was going to say next. However, Confucius said, "Oh, Lu did very good, because from now on, his word is saying like our countrymen will go save people who are drowning whenever they see that happen." But I think a more general idea is that then our countrymen would not hesitate to do good deed to help people now. So like why is that? So because it's like, okay, so doing good deed, once you put the standard down, more people feel like, okay, they could do it. So more people are willing to do that. Hi Richard, can you recommend a Taoist center in Massachusetts? Nothing come to mind right now, but I'll do a little research and I'll get back to you on that. Okay, when I read the story, it actually made me think about this chapter. So just for us then to double check what our idea about what's a good thing, what is a bad thing, and just to, the idea is then, don't just when we don't see something as a fixed, and I mean back to, I know I've said it a couple times, then we'll be actually, hi Catherine, thank you for joining. So some things we all sometimes we all think it's good or bad. You sometimes need to think a little deeper, and just like in the story about Confucius. Okay, so let's continue that. And then after that, you see there's a lot of being and non-being, difficult and easy. It's like the two sides, two duality. For Lao Tzu, it's from a different angle. I think there Lao Tzu is talking about still the same thing we're talking about. Says the being and non-being create each other. Yeah, if there's no being, like, do we need to have a name for non-being, right? So only non-being, we talk about non-being is because we have the definition about what being is. Then automatically, that's what's not included become non-being. Difficult and easy support each other. Long and short define each other. High and low depend on each other. And before and after follow each other. So from different angles that Lao Tzu is talking about how the two of them are, they're not separate. When you create one, the other happens. It's when you have, for example, when you have an A, you automatically have a minus A. But then, like I said, again, it's not, I don't feel Lao Tzu in no way, I think, was saying that that to not have like long and short. I mean, why we have the word long and short, difficult and easy, because there's use for it. I mean, we would not probably create these words or have these definitions when there is no use. For example, I remember that the time, like, for example, like the quietness, if the opposite of a quietness is probably like lots of movement, right? You could see, you can feel like how you feel the most quiet, when the situation that's most quiet. Is it really when nothing is moving? It's completely quiet? Or is the time that there is a movement that will be able to contrast the quietness? What I remember that when I feel the most quietness is when, I don't know if you have the experience, sometimes in the winter, you know, it's you may be in a wood, or you're looking at a lake, you know, around the woods around it. And when the snow come down, there are just millions of snowflakes just keep dropping down, and then just going down, just there's so much movement. If you look at the snowflake, there's just so much movement. However, in that moment, for me, I felt the most quietness that I could felt. So it's this extreme. That's why he says they complement each other, they support each other. So it's when there's the movement that actually make you feeling more of the quietness. I think a lot of good artists know when they design their artwork, there's this little, if they have a little contract color or little contract something, if you think that any good masterpiece, when they want to express an idea, usually there's a little bit of a contrast idea that then this idea they're trying to express, it just becomes so much more clear and vivid. So that's my feeling. My feeling is that it exists there for us. There's a reason. However, the problem is not that quietness is bad or movement is bad. It's that when you only think only quiet is good, movement is bad, then you are just limiting yourself to what you could enjoy and what this whole world, what this beautiful world that you can say the Tao or the God create for us. Then you're not enjoying the full of it, right? We're here to enjoy our life. So that's what I'm most wish for me, for my daughter who's 8, and for everybody, for you guys, for everyone I love, is that you enjoy your life to fullest, however you want to do it. Okay, sorry everybody, I feel like I almost ran past time. So thank you so much. I very much appreciate you joining me. We didn't finish Dao De Jing chapter 2, but we'll continue next week. Thank you everybody. Love to all.